Alright guys, welcome to a special edition of Knot Monday. Today I'm going to talk about every single knot that you're going to need to set up your fly reel. Now, before we get started, I would like to really say a special thank you to the guys over at Gigaload. When they saw my first knot video go up, they reached out to me and they wanted to support my channel and support what I was doing, and it feels pretty good. So special thanks to those guys. This video is going to cover Arbor Knot, Albright Knot, Nail Knot, Blood Knot, a double Uni Knot, Rapala Knot. And also, because so many fly line companies go ahead and put welded loops at either end, we're also going to go over a Bimini Twist as well as Perfection loop, as well as a Uni Knot for multiple ways to tie a fly onto your tippet. So this series of knots is the knots that I would use, and I know that there are a ton of different ways to set up and rig up your fly reel. If you guys do it differently, just leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys are doing differently. That being said, let's go ahead and we're going to jump into our first knot, which is our Arbor Knot. And this is going to be the knot that we're going to use to attach our backing to our reel. So an Arbor Knot is really easy to tie. We're going to take our backing and we're going to wrap it around our reel, and then we're going to tie an overhand knot around the standing end of the line. Then we're going to take the tag end of that working end of the line and we're going to tie a second overhand knot into it. Pull all that tight. You've got an Arbor Knot. All right, now that we've got our backing on our fly reel, it's time to attach our backing to our fly line. Now, I'm going to show you two different knots in case the fly line that you have does not have a welded loop at this end. So the first one we're going to go over is an Albright Knot. To tie the Albright Knot, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a bite in our fly line. Then we're going to bring the backing through that bite, and we're going to wrap the backing around the fly line and around that bite 10 times. Once we've done that, we'll bring the backing back through our bite and we'll pull everything tight. And we're going to go ahead and we'll clip the ends off and make sure everything's nice and smooth. A trick that you can do with some of these knots is you can put super glue, some form of glue over these knots, and that'll help smooth them out so that they'll go through the guides a little bit easier. Now, if your fly line does come with a welded loop, you're going to tie a Bimini Twist. A couple things with this knot is, first, don't tie this in stop motion because it is extremely difficult. Second, when you're making your loop with your Bimini Twist, you want to make it big enough that you can fit the spool that your fly line comes on through the loop. That will honestly make your life so much easier. To tie a Bimini Twist, we're going to form a loop, and then we're going to put about 20 to 25 twists into that loop. Once you've got all those twists, this is where you're going to take the loop and you're going to put it over some form of fixed object. I just put it, for the stop motion, I put it around a spool that I had laying around the house. Once you have it around your fixed object, you're going to take your fingers and you're going to compress those twists as tight as you can. Now, once you've compressed them as tight as you can, you're going to take the tag end of the line, and as you keep pushing those twists down, you're going to actually bring that tag in and you're going to go over and you're going to double over the twist. So you're basically forming a second layer over those twists. Once you have that finished, what you're going to do is you're going to tie a series of half hitches around the loop. For this example, I just did a half hitch on one end of the line, and then I did a half hitch over the entire loop. Now, once you've done this, you have your Bimini Twist. So what you're going to end up doing is you're going to take the welded loop from the fly line, you're going to pass the Bimini Twist loop through that welded loop. And then you're going to take your Bimini Twist loop and you're going to pass that around your entire fly line spool. Pull that tight, and now your backing is connected to your fly line. A quick tip when it comes to brand new fly lines is they tend to have a lot of memory still in them. So it's a good idea, once you get your spool all the way set up, to go ahead and pull the fly line off the spool and kind of stretch it out a little bit to try to break some of that memory out of those brand new lines. All right, once we've got our fly line on our reel, it's time to attach our leader to our fly line. Now, there's a couple ways to do this depending on whether or not your fly line has a welded loop. If it doesn't have a welded loop, then what you're gonna wanna tie is a nail knot. To tie a nail knot, the first thing you're gonna need is something to help you pass the line through the loops that you're gonna make. They actually do make special tools for this. When you're looking for something to use to help you out, I highly recommend finding something that is hollow, something tubular to use. All right, to tie a nail knot, we're gonna start by bringing our leader over our fly line, and then we're gonna bring whatever tool you've chosen, and you're gonna bring that and you're gonna set that up against your leader and your fly line. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your leader and you're gonna wrap it about 5 times around your fly line itself and your tool. Then you're gonna take the tag end of your leader and you're gonna put it through that tool. Then you're gonna pull the tool and the leader through all those loops, and you wanna pull all that tight, and you've got your nail knot and you've got your leader connected to your fly line. Now, if your fly line comes with a welded loop at the end, you can use a perfection loop. To tie a perfection loop, we're gonna start by taking our leader and we're gonna form a loop. Then we're gonna form a second loop. Then we'll take the tag end of the line and we're gonna bring it between both of these loops. Once we have done that, we'll take the top loop, the second loop you tied, and you're gonna pull it through the bottom loop. Pull that tight and you've got a perfection loop. Now the next 2 knots we're gonna talk about are a blood knot and a double uni knot. And these are the knots that I use to tie my leaders together, tie my tippet to my leader. I like the blood knot because it's a lot smaller, it has a lower profile, which is gonna cause less drag in the water when you've got a fish on. However, the blood knot can be really tricky to tie, especially if it's windy and you're on a boat. So typically when I'm in that situation on a boat, retying a tippet or a leader, I'll just go ahead and throw a double uni knot on there. Okay, we're gonna start with a blood knot. Now to tie this, we're gonna take our first piece of leader, the blue line, and we're going to bring it underneath the yellow line. Then we're gonna wrap the blue line 5 times around the yellow line, and then we'll pass that in between the 2 lines in front of where we started tying our wraps. Then we're gonna take the yellow line, we're gonna make 5 wraps around the blue line, and we're gonna come in from the opposite direction and pass it through the same hole that the blue line was passed through earlier. Once you've done that, pull everything tight and you have your blood knot. Tie a double uni knot. What we're gonna start off with is taking our yellow line and our blue line, and we'll have them side by side, and then we'll take and we'll make a loop with the yellow line. We'll take the tag end inside of the loop and we'll make 5 wraps around both the yellow and the blue line, and we'll pull that tight. Now on the other side, we'll take the blue line and we'll make a loop, and then we'll do 5 wraps around the yellow and the blue line, pass that through and pull that tight. And then go ahead and pull all of that tight and you have a double uni knot. The last 2 knots that we're gonna talk about are knots for attaching your hook to your tippet. And we're gonna talk about a Rapala knot, which is a type of loop knot, and a uni knot. The reason you use a loop knot is it gives a lot better movement to the fly, a lot more natural movement. To tie the Rapala knot, we're gonna start by forming a loop in our tippet. Then we'll pass the tag in through the hook and we'll bring it back through the loop that we created. Now we're gonna bring it the opposite way that the tag end is coming out of the loop on the other side. Once we do this, we're gonna wrap it 3 to 5 times around the standing end of the tippet. After that, we're gonna bring that tag end back through the overhand knot that we tied, and then through the loop that created. Pull all of that tight and you have a Rapala knot. Now to tie the uni knot, we're gonna start by bringing the tag end of the line through the hook, and then we're basically gonna form an S with the tippet material. Once we've done that, we're gonna take the tag end of the line and we're going to wrap it around the top 2 lines of the S 5 times. After you do that, pull it tight and you have your uni knot. All right guys, that's it. You are ready to go fishing. If you guys use any different kinds of knots, leave it down in the comments below. Give the video a like, hit that follow button, and I will see you guys next week.